Hello there, everyone. My name is Ryax. I am here to explain to you some very easy tips for how to start your game off in sort of the right step when approaching New Genesis. I won't explain character creation or class selection since in this game, one, you should be able to make your own character, obviously, and two, doesn't matter which class you play, whether it's Hunter, Fighter, Ranger, Gunner, Force, or Techer, as long as you just learn about your class, you won't have to worry too much about any kinds of mechanical differences that will really impact your playstyle too much. So what we're going to get down to in this guide is just helping you with the beginning, getting you to each of the battle power requirements to unlock the various areas to help you with your progression. So let's get right up on into this. And make sure to stick around for all of it so that way you're understanding about what you're going to be doing through the game. Alright, everyone. So here we are in Central City. After you complete the prologue/tutorial area, you're going to be dropped off here in Central City. Make sure that the first thing you do when you enter Central City is just focus on your story quests. Story quests in this game are a must-do above everything else if possible. They not only unlock new areas, but also unlock certain features in the game that you have no access to unless you're actually completing these story quests. So the first ones that you need to do, when you approach Central City, they're going to want you to train in a cocoon. That is going to be located over in this area right here. It's just the first step cocoon. Once you knock this cocoon out, they're then going to inform you about Riker devices. Now, Riker devices are these wonderful pillars behind, like the one that I have behind me. They enable you to fast travel around the map as well as be able to cook food at, which they'll also give you a story quest for to figure that one out. Once you complete the story quest that needs you to go to so many Riker towers, continue to work on it until you get to the story quest that talks about requiring battle power for Mount Magnus. Now, the story quest that you need to focus on for Mount Magnus will give you access to Mount Magnus right here on the map after you complete it. So make sure that you focus that right off the bat. If for any reason you have not reached the battle power requirements for Mount Magnus, maybe you're like 10 or so off for some reason, I'm not sure. Whenever I started the game, I was right with it. So hard to say, but if for some reason you are maybe like under-leveled or something, wander around Central Alio, right outside the walls of Central City. Every now and again, there's a trial that you can do. These trials, once you complete the objectives inside of them, you will get rewards and sometimes even items or experience enough to help you level up in the early game, which should raise your battle power enough to help you tackle Mount Magnus' storyline. And once you go and complete that, then begins the real grind. Now you could be wondering, what is this real grind? Well, in this sense, it's one of many, but it actually isn't as bad as you think it is. Once you unlock Mount Magnus, you're going to get many side quests while unlocking the story missions. What you need to do is push through the story missions until you hit a point where it wants you to complete a list of side quests. Now, the list of side quests can vary from many different ones. The most common, the most important ones that you're going to be getting is one to deal with the region mag. There are 3 region mags located in each of the North Alio, West Alio, and South Alio locations. There is not one in Central Alio. Now, the side quest that wants you to go seek this out should point you in the right direction of the North Alio one, which is the most commonly used one. Now, once you complete that, make sure you're looking around town, as there is an NPC that wants you, one, to come to Mount Magnus and actually start a PSE burst. This is done by following the E that points you towards where there is a group of enemies for you to fight. Each time you get rid of one of these groups of enemies with the random players or with party members at this point that you meet, it will give you 1 level of your PSE burst. Every time you complete a trial that could pop up immediately after you complete one of your E's, that will also give you a level of PSE burst. Filling the bar and completing the trials will activate a PSE burst. Now, what is this PSE burst? For those who don't understand, it basically is a giant enemy spawn, to put it simply. Essentially, until this burst runs out, enemies will constantly be spawning in an area. This will help you, one, with the side quest that needs you to actually trigger a PSE burst, and two, with the other side quest that will need you to kill 100 enemies in this area. Once the PSE burst depletes entirely, you're going to hit a PSE climax. At this point, a boss monster of a variety will spawn. Either you're going to get a silver or gold version of whatever boss monster spawns. Make sure that you kill these monsters in particular, because silver and gold variants of monsters, while they have more HP and more stats, they do have a higher chance of dropping rarer loot. At this point in the game, what you're looking for on Mount Magnus is one of two things. You need to find a 2-star weapon of your type. It doesn't matter which weapon you use for your class. Just make sure you try to find a 2-star weapon variant of it. And you're also looking for 1-star armors. Make sure that you get at least one of each of these before you're done farming in the mountain, before proceeding to the next step. Now then, once you've acquired your 2-star weapon, as shown here, we're going to be using the Hunter's Sword as an example, and your 1-star armor units will be using the Prim Armor as an example here. Make sure that you have 3 of these, one for each of your armor slots, and you want to make sure that you have at least one weapon for your type. Once you have that accomplished, what you're going to be doing now is figuring out where the cocoons and the towers are in the varying areas. So, as you can see, the map is quite expansive. There are many different areas for you to explore. However, there's only certain areas where the cocoons and towers spawn. Now, while it may be a little overwhelming to have to go look for these on your own, you are welcome to copy my world map as it is here and go out and explore. But I would suggest you actually go out and explore on your own, as there are many materials and various other chests and crates that you can find out here. Now then, while there are many different cocoons and towers on the map, there are actually certain ones that are easier to accomplish at this point in the game. These are just very easy to do. Now, of course, you're going to have the first step cocoon here. That one is accomplished, part of your tutorial mission. The second tutorial that you're going to do then is Enhanced Enemy. So that completes 2 cocoons for you right off the bat. Now then, the other cocoons you need to get is the one located in Mount Magnus. This cocoon, very simple. All you need to do is reach the end of the destination. Super easy, no enemies to fight, can knock it out. You do not need to clear all the objectives to complete and get your skill point. Now remember this. As long as you complete the cocoons and towers, you will get your skill points. Now, cocoons give 1 skill point for each first clear on them. And towers give 4. Now, so what you want to do is you want to start here at Mount Magnus. You want to move to the runaway cocoon located here on the map. Complete this one, as it is just a simple one, and quickly move down to South Aleo over here. You want to then hit up Wild Rush. Very easy. Just run through, defeat the enemies, and then just complete it. Now then, you're going to want to move to this tower. Now the tower, obviously, level 15, pretty high level for where you are currently at in the game. Do not be concerned with that. There is only one enemy in this tower, a single enemy, and you do not even have to defeat it. What this tower is entirely about is simply gliding. So while it may be a little difficult at first, as long as you complete it, you will get the 4 skill points easily. Now then, you want to move up here to the top to test flight. Again, a simple photon glide cocoon, super easy, knock it out of the park. And then finally, up here, we have swift jump. Yet another, just run through it, easy, no enemies to fight. Super easy. And with that in tow, you're going to have enough skill points here to get you more battle power to hopefully push you to the 950 requirement of your next story quest. Remember to spend all of your skill points that you currently have available on something in both your primary class and your subclass, because at this point you should have had access to your subclass via the main story mission. Once you have that set up, if you are still below the 950 requirement to access the lab, make sure that you take a look at your 2-star weapon and 1-star units. Upgrading them to plus them up, enhancing them, and also adding augments to your weapons and armor will indeed increase battle power requirements and therefore push you just that little bit further to help you get to 950 faster. Alrighty, so now you've unlocked the lab, which means you've unlocked the second of the areas that have PSE bursts located in them. So now begins an even bigger grind, and this one is, for the most part, a difficult grind for some people, and here's the reason why. This one requires you to hit a goal of 1100 battle power, and at this point in the game, you're reaching a point where acquiring battle power is starting to become challenging. However, I'm here to give you some tips to help you out with that. So let's start this off pretty easily and very simply. Now, you will remember that you actually completed a side quest for one of the guards in town called Westman. Now, however, if you run over now to another one of the guards, he has a quest for you for this lab. Make sure that you complete that quest, as it gives you 50,000 experience and will definitely boost up your power level, your power by boosting up your level. So make sure you complete that as one of your most required side quests. Now then, the other things you can do to help top off your battle power, obviously, is to tackle the last couple of cocoons and towers. See, right outside the lab, there is the Great Wall, which has you actually defeat a Daitil sword. At this point, you want to make sure that you have hit level 12, and you have actually spent some time enhancing your units and your weapon. Ideally, you want your weapon to be at around plus 10 to plus 20, and your armor to be at about plus 10, plus 15. This will assist you in taking down this level 15 enemy. Now, don't be afraid. The fact that it's 3 levels higher than you is fine. As long as you're within a 4 to 5 level area between you and the enemy, you will be able to hurt it just the same. So tackle this tower first, then move on to this cocoon over here. It has you fighting just one singular boss enemy. Once you knock it out, 1 skill point also. Then you want to move back up to West Alios over here to the Altar's Rush Tower. This one just has you battling through a whole bunch of enemies until you get to the end and beat the final enemy. Very simple. They're all level 15 at this point, so make sure that you're practicing dodging or parrying depending on your class and doing lots of damage to them. And then finally, we have down here Roar and Rush. Very simple. You're just running through once again and just beating enemies up. And then once you got all these out of the way, you're at your level, you're at your full 20 skill points. Make sure that you spend them on both your class and your subclass, as this will give you the highest amount of battle power, which I believe, as me and my friends have figured out, is around 61 battle power altogether for spending all 20 of your skill points. It may not seem like a lot, but in the long run, it really does help pay off quite nicely. Now, if you're still running issues, maybe you're at like 1090, 1095 battle power, simply sit in this lab area right here. Make sure to farm here. If need be, level up to 13 or 14. Remember, for every time that you level up in this game, your battle power will go up anywhere from about 10 to 15. So if you need like just a little bit more, spend some time in here, level up, get some more materials, and just keep enhancing and augmenting your gear. Now then, for the last part before you hit 1100, or maybe you're reading this after you've already hit 1100, but you haven't quite done the story mission yet. Either way, I'm going to point you towards the areas for the last 3 of the only 3 4-star units that you're going to want to pick up in this situation. Now then, the 4-star units you can pick up are these 3 right here. These are actually really good units. However, you will come across other 4-stars that you can pick up from farming in the various areas. However, these 3 are simply free. They're just waiting for you in red crates, so easy to pick up. You can actually pick these up right off the bat if you wanted to at level 5 before you even unlock Mount Magnus. They're very simple to find. I'm going to show you here where the first one is. Simply come out here to this area on the map, as you can see here. I am right actually below the Riker unit. Here, let me zoom in. I'm right below the Riker unit right down here. So you want to come to this area overlooking the Riker device, simply hop up to the hill, and then you want to fly over to this uplift up here. Once you are up here, you will take the uplift up once, and then simply glide over to the tree right here. Now, obviously, it's not going to be here for me, because I've already done it, but right here, waiting for you, will be a chest with barrier enemies around it. In this surrounding area, you're going to need to hunt down the 4 barrier units. Once you've destroyed all of them, the chest will be able to be destroyed, and you'll have your first of the 4-star units. Now then, here at the location of the second unit that you can pick up, right here on your map, we are now in West Alio over at the Cyano Cliffs Riker device right here. Make sure you teleport to this location, and what you're going to do is you're going to follow the path of the cliffside right here. You're not going to want to go down this one right here. It may actually be even invisible range, but you're going to aim to come over here. And the red chest will be right down here, located, nestled against these rocks right here. And once you hit it, once again, you're going to have to locate the barrier units, and they will be scattered around as, like, down here throughout the cliff area. Once you get all the barrier units, you can then hit the crate. Second unit is yours. It's just that easy on this one. Now then, for the last of the 3 4-star units that you can pick up from the red crates, you're going to come to North Alio right here on top of the cocoon for swift jump. You're going to jump off of it onto the area next to it right here, and you're going to climb up the little mountain here with the tree roots on it. And then right here behind the tree roots, you're going to find it just kind of nestled away right behind you. Should be about right here in this location. You're going to need to then, once again, find the 4 barrier units. This one is a little tricky. I know a lot of people have had some issues with it. 3 of them are really easy to find, as one is in the tree, and a couple are around the trunks. However, one of them, which is what most people spend a lot of time on, is that there's actually one peeking over the side of the cliff over here. It's either going to be, it's going to be somewhere around this general area right here. That one will be the most difficult one to locate, so make sure that you're paying attention over here as well. Once you get all 4 of them, you get the last of your 4-star units. These are good to level up after you're sure of your battle power having reached 1184, and you have enough enhancement materials to start working on them. You don't want to get rid of your 1-star units just yet until you know for a fact that you will be above the 1184 battle power without them. So make sure that you hang on to these, make sure you lock them, and you keep them ready for whenever you're going to transition into them, as these are exceptionally better than the 1-star unit, because the 1-star can only be upgraded to 10, and the 2 stars can only be upgraded to 20. However, the 4 stars can be upgraded all the way. So make sure that you work on that. Well, now you've beaten, hopefully, the last of the story missions. You've conquered the final boss. I won't say its name just to save spoilers, but hopefully you've conquered the final boss without too much difficulties. For some people, it's a touch and go area, but hopefully you nailed it. Now that you've completed everything, you have now gained access to 2 new areas, which are just rank 2s of current areas you've been to. So now you've unlocked rank 2 of the laboratories, making enemies level 15, as you can see. And now you've unlocked rank 2 of Mount Magnus, making enemies level 15, as you can see as well. For most of your 4-star farming from this point on, because at this point, what you are looking for is, 1, either hitting 1184 if you have yet to do that, because you only need 1100 for the story, but you need 1184 for urgent quests, and also these 2 areas. Now, even though you unlock them in the story quest, unless you are 1185 battle power, you do not actually gain access to these places. So what you need to do, 1, is if you're still 1100, you want to be farming here in Roseau Forest, making sure to just simply get more enhancement materials and work on achieving 1184 as fast as possible, whether that's just leveling up. You make sure you're taking your side quests. There's another guard in Central City that now has another side quest for you that gives you 100,000 experience at this point. Make sure you run at him, and grab it and then come back and farm this area out. Once you hit 1184 battle power, now begins the big grind. And when I say big grind, it's more just like your typical RNG grind. Each of the three areas here has different 4-star sets of weapons for your different classes. I will go over this in a different video, but you're going to need to make sure to pick out which area you want to farm for both augments and weapons. But at this point, you've hit it, you've done it, you've reached end game, so you're just in it to just grind at this point. However, that doesn't mean that it turns into a boring game. Honestly, in this game, there's a lot of things to do still. And if you spent most of your time focusing on story quests and side quests and haven't really been exploring that much, you might want to go back and explore everything, as there are still multiple red crates, gold crates, and green crates out there in the entire map to find that all give you great rewards. All right, everyone, that about wraps it up for your tip guide on how to get from the start of your New Genesis adventure to the end of your story adventure and the beginning of the end game grind session to get your 4-star weapons and your 4-star units and all that and more. So again, thanks for sticking through the end of the video. If you have any additional comments, maybe you found out some stuff that I didn't mention in the video that could be helpful to other people, or you found some things in the video that maybe I didn't mention properly, please leave a comment down below. I'll be sure to look it up and put more information into the next video that I make to help more players out. If you'd like to see more stuff, because I'm going to be working on more PSO2 New Genesis content in the future, please consider subscribing, and I will see y'all next video. Thanks again. Have a good one out there.